Welcome to our 33rd episode of the Tesla to Mars podcast. Good news today. How did you enjoy your FSD, Florian, today? Because FSD got released in the Netherlands.
13.8.
13.8, yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it took a while, right? Like 50 minutes of download and a lot of gigabytes, right?
I thought we weren't not going to do this because it was lame to do a one April joke.
Yeah, but Kay is a lame guy, so...
Yeah, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was your joke?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a bad joke.
Can you explain the joke? Because I don't get it.
Yeah, but you don't get all the FSD, all the like for April Fool's jokes.
So
what about Optimus, the orders?
Case, over the last couple of months, you have established a position of authority on FSD in Europe.
Yeah.
And you say you're destroying this reputation within a minute, or what?
No, it's I'm only strengthening it.
Just strengthening.
No.
Yeah, we're still waiting, ladies and gentlemen, on FSD in Europe. Do we got updates there as well, or?
Definitely, we got it on the screen here because about a week ago I posted about Norway and some FSD testing on public roads there. And it's looking like they're hiring more and more autopilot test operators. So that's a positive step in the right direction.
Would it be awesome if you applied to
this?
It would
be effing awesome to apply. But people responded that actually replied. Like people responded on my post, but weren't allowed. Like they didn't get accepted. It's probably pretty difficult to get in. But yeah, this would be one of my dream jobs.
Just out of interest, what are they looking at? Somebody highly motivated, but do they have any specifics?
Highly motivated. Case is motivated, so check. Individual, check.
He's not an individual. He has multiple persons involved.
Yeah, I have a split personality disorder.
Exactly.
Sober?
Nope.
Okay, but this is more what to expect. Can you go down?
This is a picture. This is not scrollable.
Highly organized with great attention to detail.
Nope.
Okay, so there we go. No.
Okay, sorry. Self-starter. Oh, nope. Flexible.
Not
nope.
hired.
Okay. But to get back to one of Florian's favorite topics, the amount of miles driven on FSD. Tesla has announced a couple days ago, like in end of March, that the Tesla fleet has driven finally more than 3.6 billion miles in FSD. First beta, then supervised. Are we going to reach that 6 billion figure within the next 90 days, Florian? What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah?
We are seeing the beginnings of the wall.
Yeah,
so
because
it will get steeper the next few months. But I'm not very sure if they were referring to the cumulative FSD miles, which we are referring to.
I think so, because it says collectively first beta, then supervised. So that looks like
it should be. Yeah. So we will make this by I think September this year. We will get to 6 billion.
And like we did a full billion, more than a full billion in just 2025.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? Because suddenly China is enabled.
Yep.
So a lot of cars are coming on the road.
And wide release was announced.
What is the percentage of Tesla cars worldwide? What percentage is China? What percentage is Europe? And what percentage is US?
Well, China is at least 35%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Europe 20%-ish?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
There are like 2.8 million cars in China.
Yeah.
And I think in Europe, 1.5 or something like that.
Yeah, so then when it's rolled out over the entire fleet, that's a quite significant jump that happens in those total driven miles. And every quarter, there are ballpark 500,000 cars coming on the road.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah, this quarter will be like 350, so a little bit less, but still it's quite significant.
Are you checking me, Kenny?
Mm-hmm. Fact checker, nice.
Yeah, it's quite still a big chunk of a total Tesla fleet that comes online every quarter. So we have then a couple of tailwinds there. We have China coming online. We have since this is published, March 2024, in a year, 2 million cars extra are on the road. Or in the coming year, at least 2 million cars will, or more or less 2 million cars will get on the road. and Europe will be enabled. So then that curve will become more steep with the time passing by, right?
Yeah,
and I mean, if we get to that threshold of getting to 6 billion, the next milestone of getting to 20 billion will only take
like a year or so.
Yeah, it's going to be even steeper and steeper. The wall is going to be.
Especially if they're really going to launch in June in this June in Texas, and I have something that I was super excited about because.
Shall I share the exact number? So
yeah, please do.
Florian was very close. It's 2.4 million cars in China, approximately, and that's 31.5% of the Tesla fleet.
And Europe?
Give me a sec.
Yeah, so how does the total pie look like?
I said 1.5, and I think it's actually 1.2 or something.
In Europe.
So it means that in US there's like 3 million cars.
Makes sense.
Go ahead, Kees.
Yeah, because what we're seeing here, and that's very bullish that it's coming directly from Tesla. Here they have a post that's dated on March 26th. The future is autonomous and it starts in Austin this June. Thanks to Austin City and Texas DOT for hosting and supporting our efforts to unlock safe and low-cost premium point-to-point electric transport. Yeah, this is insanely bullish that Tesla is posting this because it's 3 months ahead. Yeah, and I have that as well here. Let me grab it on the screen. He reiterated here. As I've said previously, unsupervised full self-driving Teslas will be carrying passengers in Austin in June and many cities in America by the end of the year. That's
and Versat had a good question under that post. Not sure if it's in your timeline, but he had some discussion, assuming that it then must be Model Y. So he I know you guys had quite some back and forth of is it the Model Y or is it the Cybercab?
I think it will be Model Y.
Model Y.
Yeah, definitely. Because the Model Y is completely prepped, also with the rear light strip and the front light strip. It can do multiple colors. That whole vehicle is prepped for FSD. And there might be, because
do you think there also will come a version without steering wheel?
For the Model Y in the short term, I don't really think so. That will be fully Cybercab, I guess. But at Giga Texas, they have a supercharger there. They had 2 of these black boxes to protect cars or hide cars.
Yeah.
And also we're seeing some, just like a little bit prior to the Cybercab event on 1010, you saw these Model 3s with different camera placement, right? But it's a Model 3 body. They're driving around again. So all's moving in, all's pointing in the right direction, that indeed in June we're going to see the Cybercabs and the Model Ys driving around.
Yeah, and what also is interesting is that we are still on version 13 as we speak. So in June, which is in 60 days, we will see the launch. So somewhere in between, I think version 14 will be launched.
Yeah, for sure.
FSD.
Yeah, that is continuously updated, right? So
yeah, but this will be a huge leapfrog from version 13 as well.
Yeah,
so
interesting.
That's something to look forward for in the next 30 days.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So very positive that it's being reiterated not only from Elon but also from Tesla, and that June seems to be the moment where everybody has been waiting for.
Yeah, and Lars Moravi said it as well in a video a couple of weeks ago. So
they're still on the same timeline, which surprises me. But I think in 3 weeks we have the Tesla Q1 call, Q1 2025, and it's going to happen in Q2. So I think if we get a reconfirmation, you're basically sure that it's going to happen. They're so close right now, so it seems to be there.
Yeah, I think our colleague Mark is actually preparing a trip.
Yeah, he's organizing a trip. Yeah,
we call it a handelsmissie in Dutch.
Yeah, what's the trade mission?
Trade mission.
Yeah,
and we already got 15 people subscribed.
Yep. a lot of interesting people. So good contacts for in your network. And we're gonna do everything. Like it's gonna be all EV and all autonomy. And it's going to be a full action-packed 3 days because it's from 17th till 20th of June.
Yeah, somewhere. And I learned today from him that one day is a visit to the Gigafactory.
Definitely. So a Gigafactory
and also
tour in
able
Austin.
to drive some cars which are available at the factory.
Yep. Yeah, so the cost is $3,500, excluding the tickets. And if you're a Dutch company, you can apply for a subsidy. That's €1,500. So that'll lower the cost of for 2K.
Nice. Well, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
when is it planned?
17th.
I think the end of June somewhere.
Yeah, June 17th
What's
till
the
the
website?
20th. I'll put it in the description of the video and then with a link to the form. So
yeah, because we were planning to go on a trip with the 4 of us as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But maybe we can combine it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah,
sure.
Why not?
But,
I think it's interesting to see if it still happens, So, like, if it's in June, like we're so close, and I would say let's go in June
that's
and
the
check it
moment
out.
I'm going to hop on the plane. The moment they are going to launch the date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've put it on X as well. Who's going to join us if we're going to do it? There are a lot of people.
What's your first ride that you're going to make with full self-driving in Europe, in the Netherlands? What is the first thing you're going to type in?
I'm going to my parents' house.
Get his parents' house. You're such a well-rounded, guy.
Ideaal schoonzoon.
Yeah, exactly. Like
perfect son-in-law.
Perfect
Try
son-in-law. Yeah.
No, but yeah.
I'm going to type in something nuts. I need to go to
Red light district.
Red light district.
I didn't want to say it, but it was at the tip of my tongue.
No idea. I've never thought about this question.
KFC.
KFC.
Yeah, drive-through.
Yeah.
Please give me some hot wings.
Really, my dream is to sort of type in the next destination, and that you can sleep in your car. So after work,
so the Alps, for example.
Yeah, after a work day on Friday, you type in because in Europe we're not very much used to travel to other countries, right? To go abroad, so Ardennes or Paris, we don't do that very much. Would be amazing if you just wake up and suddenly you are in Paris or in Berlin or so.
That video that you showed us today, he took a very expensive cab, but now he can take a Cybercab.
I learned last week as well that with the wireless charging, I didn't think about it yet, but when you do these kind of trips, with the wireless charging, the car will actually get onto the wireless charger and just drive through. So you will be sleeping while charging. Isn't that crazy? Yep. Because we've been charging for like 12 years. Every time we do the same thing.
Hey, and you are also like me, like a very fanatic Whoop tracker, your sleep, etc., your health.
Powering as well.
When will be the first time we get 100% sleep score in the Cybercab?
I think the first time. That will be amazing, huh?
Yeah.
To have a 100% sleep score in a Cybercab.
Yeah, because then
but about that wireless charging, you also have like the talk about inductive charging on the highway, like integrated into the asphalt. Do you still think that's a possibility in the future, or do you think they're going to work with wireless charging stations where you can sleep and charge?
I don't think it makes a lot of sense, to be honest.
And why not?
Well, because then you have, like, how are you going to do it? Like, you need to either put something on the roads or in the roads, and you have like a lot of roads, So to put all that hardware,
it's a huge investment.
It's like the same as a discussion you had back in the days. Like, if you're
swappable batteries.
No, not that way. But I mean, if you have a desk.
Yeah,
they said like
with wireless charging.
Yeah, with wireless charging in the desk. We had it at Deloitte as well, and you could only do your phone. And they would say, in the future it will be like just one giant battery, but it's very costly still, or like one giant, charging station.
And the time of charging is still dropping every year.
Exactly. So I think in due course, maybe you will have to wait like 5 or 10 minutes, and if you're sitting or you're sleeping or whatever,
it doesn't matter.
How big is the deal,
Okay.
So I don't think so.
Yeah, but how amazing would that be? You sleep in your car and you arrive fully rejuvenated at a new destination. So with no waiting times like airports, etc. So
with your surf gear on top, or your ski gear.
It's going to change quite a lot, So you can actually get in the car at like 9 in the evening, and then the next morning you can wake up, let's say in Spain.
That'll be super awesome.
Yeah. I think it's going to literally, like, if I could choose between flying to Spain in,
or sleeping in a car,
3 or 4 hours, or sleeping in a car and do it by night, I would do by night.
Yeah, and if it's a very comfortable car to sleep in, no doubt. Yeah.
And which it looks like, because if you look at the Cybercab, it's just like one giant seat. So like a sort of sofa seat.
Maybe if you have a semi-camper autonomous, then I would do it.
Yeah, the RoboVan.
Playing cards with the friends.
Yeah, you can sleep
sitting in the back.
Yeah. They can with the RoboVan, right? If that's the
RoboVan,
that's the entire thing. We have not heard much about the RoboVan only on the Munro episode. Have you checked that out?
Mm-hmm.
Where
no, not yet. No.
Basically like Munro always Sandy Munro is like engineer from Lean Design.
Teardown Titan is his account.
Teardown Titan, and he's a legend in this automotive world, but also in the Tesla world, because he does like extensive breakdowns of cars, goes very deep in the technicalities of the car.
Yeah.
But sometimes now they like him a lot at Tesla, because he actually also wrote a couple of recommendations for Tesla. But sometimes now he gets invited just to talk with his Munro Live YouTube show to talk with management or engineers and designers of Tesla.
He was walking around with Frans and Lars.
And Lars, yeah. So he was walking around there, but he always acts like a kid in the candy store. Like he's so much praise for everything these guys are doing, and he could not believe his own eyes with the RoboVan. And they talked about Art Deco as being the inspiration, but they had a new word for it. It was a future deco. So future needs to look like the future again. But he was very impressed by how spacious that whole thing is, and how much load and opportunity it can carry. And that this is something that I really like as a Tesla investor, that there are always so much sort of hidden opportunities within that company.
Yeah.
So nobody's talking about Cybervan anymore. Or even the semi-truck is not like a very big topic at the moment. But the development of those products and those production lines are always continuing.
Yeah, it's ongoing.
Yeah, always, ongoing. Yeah. But all those projects are also like insanely hard. So for example, with the Tesla semi-truck, literally half of the world said like, this is like... from a physics standpoint, impossible. And Elon of course, knowing his numbers a little bit better than many others, said it can be done. But those, I think, are all like sort of sleeping giants within that company. And then suddenly, like same with
Cybercab as well. Like nobody expected it, and then
with Tesla Energy, and now it's holy fuck. Tesla. Energy is making such a big impact on the P&L. But if you think about it, how many of these sleeping giants Tesla has, and energy is sort of giant awakening, right? So that there's awakening. Then we have the semi-truck. Then we have the Cybercabs. Then we have the RoboVan, and then we have the Optimus robot. And then a whole lot of things we don't even talk about. So integration with Boring Company solutions there, the sales of data of the real world data that FSD is collecting, maybe in a partnership with xAI.
Dojo.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I wanted to talk about, because if you're talking about like Tesla pulling rabbits out of the hat, not the head. X and xAI merging together, that's a huge one. And some people expected it, like, makes sense. But at the same time, nobody really expected it. And it was a bombshell.
Yeah, but my point is that the value is already there. The products are already there. Maybe prototype, maybe first phase. Last episode, we talked about the 3 waves of scaling that Tesla has. And there are always a few in a few buckets, right? So Model Y, Model 3 are in sort of that already at scale. But a lot is now in stage 2, but also a lot is in stage 1. And that's just super exciting. And then we don't even talk about things they have not announced, like HVAC systems or things that that the projects that Tesla is not following through on, that list must be enormous. They have a very tight focus.
What do you mean with HVAC?
No, what I mean is like these engineers get a lot of freedom within the company, so they can develop a whole bunch of things that they can do, but they are very carefully in the resources that they allocate for their growth. So obviously now they're doubling down on AI. So a lot of engineering talent goes into everything
from there.
Everything AI. But Tesla's, for example, the batteries are super good. But also Tesla's cooling system is state of the art. So Elon talked a lot about, and you see it also in the master plan, that
Sandy Munro did a really good video about this, the octovalve system and the HVAC.
Yeah, but in that video, there's also a slide where they want to reduce traditional air conditioning, which is a big chunk of the energy usage, especially in the United States. Yeah. And that's something they already have been talking about 5 years. But they just decide not to announce that because probably from a mission standpoint or commercial standpoint, it's not the first thing they should execute on right now. So they're very disciplined in where they put their resources on. But I think in that bucket 0, that is not entering bucket 1 yet. So if we have 3 stages of growth, 1, 2, 3, in that bucket 0, the pool within Tesla must be gigantic with all sorts of robotic solutions. Think about, I was on the airport last week, and you see self-driving wheelchairs and all that.
Oh, and those vacuum robots.
Yeah, Tesla can execute on all of that stuff, but of course they don't want to do that. So that's why I always you see a lot of hidden gems in stage 1. And those are really big things. I think, Kenny, you elaborated on that in one of the previous podcasts as well, that they really only want to go into a market when they can be the absolute category
winner.
Mm-hmm. So we not only go to design a truck, but the truck must be a clear winner within that category. And I think that's just super exciting. And now we take also the Cybertruck for granted. But the thing is 1 year around, or 1.5 year actually around, and is also in this. I think Cybertruck is right now in stage 2, so the second production lines and the learnings are going to get up, but also that thing can still be ramped up to lower pricing, etc. So, yeah.
But the Cybertruck, in my opinion, is not really doing well lately.
Yeah, not
in
sure.
In terms of sales and stock out standing still, and
do you have data on that?
Well, there are tons of pictures, and we have friends like CERN who are looking to buying those cars standing still on the lots. And the data actually came in when the recall came, the official recall from panels letting loose. And the amount of cars in the recall was around 200,000 something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not a huge number if you ask me. Well, the hype is very
I'm just
real.
trying to put it in context. What are the number of trucks sold?
Yeah,
what's the market leader in electric trucks? Is that still Cybertruck? Yes or no?
Cybertruck.
Are they selling more or less trucks on a monthly basis? I have no idea at this moment.
They sold around 60,000 Cybertruck at this point.
You said 200,000.
Yeah.
No, it's less.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's less. Can
you fact check it?
Look up that number. But there are not so much sales. But if I hear that, Elon talked about it in one of the shareholder calls where he said, it's basically we outdid ourselves on the sort of Cybertruck. So they went all out with all the innovations being pushed. In the last shareholder meeting, we had this slide where the new technologies of the car are being listed. and which ones are being transferred. So 48 volt. So everything on that car is new when it comes to steer-by-wire, all that. All new technologies are being pushed in. So the first phase was also the Foundation series, right? The high priced. And just the market for, maybe you can put that on screen too, on the last earnings call.
So I think the estimates by Grok are that it's like around 47,000 vehicles.
That's not a lot.
And to give you some numbers on the...
competition?
No, not on the competition, but more on the trend. So in Q3 last year, they sold 16,692. And then in Q4, they only sold 13,000. So that's a 22% drop. And then in Q1, Tesla's Q4 delivery report showed all the models estimated. No. Yeah, okay. So they think, so COX forecast the US Q1 deliveries between 7 to 8,000. So that's another, what is it? Almost 45% drop.
Yeah. So what is going on with the Cybertruck?
The sales numbers are declining from the Cybertruck.
Yeah. So what the thing is for the Cybertruck? So I informed in this one. Cybertruck is a typical stage one. So they launched. Tesla has improved their strategy of launching vehicles as well, because normally it was the time where the cash burn was highest, because it costs a lot of money to get that thing on scale. Yeah. And to remind everybody, and we talk about this in this podcast a lot, there's no profitable EV car maker yet in the world. So getting at scale and getting profitable at scale is super, super hard. And Elon said they outdid themselves in the technologies. So if you look at the list, Cybertruck advancements in vehicle technology and architecture. So, and then using future vehicles. So gigacastings, that's a manufacturer and design thing.
Yeah, so this is a trickle-down thing you're actually talking about. Like this is a high-end model, just like Mercedes did in the past with the S-Class, top model, high price. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so what Elon also said in his latest All Hands, it's like, gents, maybe we can come up with a casting machine of 50,000 ton. Let's see what the limits of the technology is, and let's challenge ourselves to push the technology sort of to that outest limit. And the Cybertruck is one where they did that on basically every factor. So the big innovations in this thing is, of course, the stainless steel exoskeleton, but that is only relevant for the Cybertruck.
But this one is a really big one. Sandy Munro got a hard on of this.
Yeah. And Sandy said that 48 electrical architecture is something that was overdue already, like 30 years in.
Exactly, and they're the first ones to do it.
Yeah. So all these technologies that are being listed in this slide, and it was presented in the Q4 update of Tesla, are groundbreaking technologies that only Tesla has been pushing in their cars. Customer glass, adaptive air suspension, steer-by-wire, rear steering. All those things are very tricky. So the first line of production of the Cybertruck was also a little bit underestimated how tough it would be to get all these new technologies in the car. But now, because Elon also explained the 3 phases of technology development. So now Cybertruck is almost entering phase 2. And people say, well, the Cybertruck is maybe a bit expensive, sales are down. But that's just the 100,000 version that just has a limited market cap. So they sold everything they could to that segment. And now the price will go down every, let's say, quarter till finally it reached that point of 40,000 euros, 50,000 euros. Because that was the endpoint price or the entry price
it was
that Elon announced.
46 something was the entry price for the single motor.
So, and that then with every price trickle coming down, the market will be, of course, expanding for that Cybertruck. But that's always a nice thing when people are sort of saying, well, it's not working. Cybertruck, the demand for that Cybertruck is just too low. But it all comes down to the price point and the affordability. And Tesla is just super, super smart and now staging also those price points in the beginning. And they took the playbook as well for the new Model Y, right? Because that one is now also a bit more expensive.
30% cheaper to produce,
Yeah, they did the same. So on the profitability of the cars, I did a check last week as well. So there are some companies that are profitable on the top level. So BYD is profitable,
subsidized,
Li, etc.
And not fully EV.
Yeah, so there is subsidization there, but you can say the same for Tesla, right? Which is having those
with
credits.
The carbon credits,
But a lot of people actually still think that Tesla doesn't earn any money with the cars, like none, and that they all earn money with the credits, which was for like maybe 1 or 2 quarters in the past, but it's now not true. They earn on the cars, but all pure play EV players are not profitable on the cars segment. So for BYD it's hard because it's like they do have battery electric vehicles, but they have ICE as well or hybrids. So it's hard to distinguish.
A lot of batteries as well.
Yeah, exactly. So there's actually no one as we know now.
Yeah, and Ford for sure is loss-making.
Ford for sure is very loss-making.
Do you know about Volkswagen?
Yeah, also loss-making.
Loss-making. So our claim, and I think we're sort of first ones that actually claim this thing, is that Tesla is currently having 100% of the profits in the EV market.
And will be so for a long, long time.
Yeah, BYD might earn some, but...
Or some niche.
But doesn't come close to Tesla.
No, Rivian is the same. Like all pure play are not...
No, but if you think about this, and we talk about it, that Tesla is not competing with the other EV makers, although, you need to keep an eye on them. They're competing with the traditional ICE market. And they need to be significantly better and cheaper. And they're already better in every factor, but not yet the affordability. So the real breakthrough
coming close though.
Getting close, but the real affordability is, of course, the real breakthrough for Tesla is, of course, if FSD and Cybercabs are driving. That's the big breakthrough. But the other breakthrough is if they can get to that 30,000 price point target for EV, and
they're gonna release it in this quarter.
Yeah, so the 30,000 price point is sort of, if you look at that affordability chart, is sort of the magic spot for cars and EVs, because then you open up to a whole new market segment that is way bigger. And so, I shared that sheet of that Q4 earnings with all the technologies being pushed.
Here, this one, yeah.
But then also, we already entered a new phase. This is all innovations of the Cybercab. Of the Cybertruck. Mm-hmm. But then the Cybercab has a whole new line of manufacturing innovations that are being deployed. And that... I like your word, that trickle-down effect that will be used in the future versions. Mm-hmm. So, and I think people think very lightly of integrating those technologies because nobody has done it before. And it's not that the idea of 48 volt is new. The idea is already out there for a long time, but nobody can execute it.
Nobody did it, and nobody had the balls actually to do it. And stick to the...
And in Sandy's interview, he also talked about... He always talks about why it is so special that Tesla can execute on these technologies.
Why is that?
And the reason why they can execute on these technologies is, first of all, everything is vertical integrated in this company. But within Tesla, but also in SpaceX and all the Elon Musk companies, there are no silos. So it's not engineer, design, and all that. No, all those connected people, the leads and the most important people within those divisions, are talking to each other and working with each other every day.
And they're not specialists for one special segment. If they're good, and they can be put to work in a different...
Yeah. And the Cybertruck, together with the Cybercab, are the first cars that are being manufactured with the end in mind. And that means for huge scale manufacturing, it needs to apply. And sometimes you also see Tesla, and that this is also a very interesting thing to follow. They progress on something. So a little bit in a year ago, we saw a lot of progress on the semi-truck. More and more semi-trucks going on the road. And then it seems to be halted.
Yeah.
But why is it halted? They
probably battery constrained and infrastructure constrained.
It's these kind of things. They suddenly then have the ability to see, like, listen, this technology has such an impact. We need to put it in the semi-manufacturing as well.
We need to switch whole over the whole production line because this is going to be the solution.
Did they talk about the Cybercab as well in the production with him?
Yes. But
because I think one of the things that I took away earlier is that they want to get a Cybercab out every 5 seconds. So I'm curious to see, like, what is the verdict there of... I haven't seen the video, so...
Yeah, well, Elon talked about it in his all hands.
But did they also discuss it with...
I'm not remembering that anymore.
Okay.
But what my sort of takeaway was, and not only from that interview, but just by observing Tesla over the years, is that sometimes that they halt that technology a little bit. So they're very disciplined in making their choices and decisions. Mm-hmm. So... And they also have no problem with making decisions that are hurting in the short term, which is, I think, very unprecedented, because normally you would say, get that car out as fast as possible. And maybe in the past that was true with Tesla, with Model 3s, and we all remember...
because they needed to do that for their stock movements and his stock appreciation program, I guess.
No, they needed it to just generate revenue and generate sales. But everybody remember the build quality of the first phase Model 3s.
Yep.
But now they don't push out those kind of cars.
No more crazy end of year delivery pushes.
No. And so they're very disciplined in choices, integrating new technologies where they can. So when they have this list of technologies, it will be shared with the Tesla Semi team. It's there on the table.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, right away. So if you look at the semis being manufactured 1 year ago and the latest one that are being manufactured, it's already like a whole new product.
Yeah, and you see that all as well in the complete history of all the Model 3s.
Yeah.
Every quarter, and even within a quarter, the build quality there can be slight improvements. So if you check the steering wheels, it's Stixel, so the
stitching.
The stitching, they find out, this is getting loose. Next iteration, boom, and they replace it, and and then they don't announce it. So that's really cool. But I think that I found it very interesting what you said, because classic car companies have a board, right? Board members, and they are responsible for stock movements, right? Or like a stock price.
Oh.
Well, they get like...
they're responsible for earning more.
Exactly. Yeah. So they're really short-term oriented to get that stock price up and running to give value to the...
Yeah.
Elon doesn't give a fuck. He just wants Tesla to improve and keep on getting better and better and better for a future endpoint.
Just making the best products.
Yeah.
Hey, but before we lose the agenda...
and final point on this one, like the appreciation on...
we have a fly on the wall here. We have a fly on the wall here.
The appreciation from Sandy was that Tesla actually could put out like 100 small innovation in a quarter. And he said like no company in the world is able to do that. And that's really like just a spectacular thing to follow. So
yeah, it is. That's why we have this podcast.
Definitely. Hey. X and xAI join forces. AI and vertical integration.
Mr. M&A.
Mr. M&A, what do you think about it?
Yeah, there's a deal on the table. So if you go down a little bit here on the screen, so this is, I think, something from ARC. I'm actually on their mail list. Yeah. So they said that there's a merger between X and xAI in an all-stock transaction. And what that means is that X and xAI were two separate companies and are now one company. But there was no cash paid for any shares or whatsoever. So they just combined the two companies. Here it says the combined entity is valued at 125 billion. And I think what Elon mentioned in one of his tweets is that X was basically acquired by xAI. That was my feeling. So xAI is the buying partner. So you always have on the legal part a buying partner. So that's my assumption. And that X, so Twitter formerly, was bought for, I think, around $33 billion in equity value. Yep. And there was a debt of I think 12
billion. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically what happened, which I think is a smart thing, is we all know that Twitter was bought for 44 billion. So I think part was paid with debt, which is on the balance sheet. And part was paid with equity, so with money from Elon Musk and the parties that wanted to fund him, like Ron Barron, ARK, etc. Sequoia Capital. And I think then after that, it went pretty hard south, So a lot of advertisers went away from the platform as well.
The whole Disney...
the whole Disney saga, etc. So I think the value then went down as well because they made less cash. They were burning cash, actually. And with this move, he actually got everyone, let's say, on par. So they didn't lose money on paper and now got a combination with X. But to me, this says that X is valued at, what is it, 90 billion around?
Yep.
So it's quite high. And
then there was a moment that X actually posted their quarterly revenues, or I think even their yearly, and also their EBIT, and they were positive, and they were more positive than they were ever before. So I don't really follow your narrative that it was it's like a buyout or something to buy back.
To be honest, I do feel that way because
if you look at the article, it says something completely different.
It's a super bullish move, actually.
It's not about X or the investors.
It's about AI.
It's about AI. And it's about the strategic play that it's at hand.
Access to all these.
If you can bring back the article,
I have a theory about it. Can I share them?
First, I think first I want to have Florian.
Sure. So if you scroll down the article, it talks about the vertical integration, which also happened with Tesla. And this chart actually shows the vertical integration of the competitors. So the competitors are obviously the big names that we all know, Google, OpenAI, etc. And it shows the vertical integration of the business model. And on the left side, you have xAI right now. Mm-hmm. And with X involved, they actually created a more vertical integration. So I think Google is the most integrated player at this moment because they also have the Google Wallet. X obviously doesn't have it yet.
They have YouTube.
Exactly. So they have the chips, the data centers, the models, the consumer interfaces, the hardware devices,
the phones,
the value, and the currency. So the currency is not even there yet, but they already have the wallet.
Yeah.
So and that's what they are actually explaining. This is just the beginning. So I also saw another tweet from some other guy.
Yeah, you mean the tweet by Dr. Jack, I think.
Yes.
And that
the stock market is not reacting yet, and he is referring to the Tesla stock market.
Yeah.
Stock.
Yeah.
Is that Tesla is going to be the third leg on this strategic play. So he doesn't explain it yet, but we have some other tweets where we maybe can explain what's happening here. But something from the article itself as well is that Brett Whitten is actually explaining how the costs are going around, and he shows if you go up a little bit. So this is very interesting. So if you go down, these are the AI cost declines versus Moore's law. So Moore's law is the black
line, the top black line.
So Moore's law is already with every doubling the cost halves.
Yeah.
So you see the purple line. This is the AI hardware and software improvement line. So this is like a multiple from Moore's law. So this explains on a theory basis why these players need to get vertically integrated. So vertical integration is the software, the hardware together. So that's also where eventually physical AI will get involved, where we even going to involve the robots and the taxis.
Yeah.
So I will go further on this when I get some more moments from you, Kees. But first give the word to...
Definitely very interesting though.
Sure. Well, for me, it's a matter of connecting the dots and looking at the bigger picture of what Elon wants to achieve. So first of all, the goal of X is to become the everything app, right?
Yeah.
So that is, and the everything app is basically all your goods and services can be bought, etc. So Elon has a very specific vision on that.
Mm-hmm.
So that is dot number one. The second dot that we have is that Tesla has the best quality video material of the world, because they have like 10 million cars, almost 10 million cars making videos all day with 8 cameras from high quality of the real world. So we get real world data. And if you think about the applications, Elon talked about movies and making games, etc. Those things will be building blocks within the everything app of Tesla. So Tesla has a huge, has enormous capabilities when it comes to high quality data of the real world. And a good example was the amount of videos that Tesla is making every week is outshining already the amount of videos that are being uploaded on YouTube. So the amount of video that Tesla is collecting is very big.
From the cars.
Sorry?
From the cars, the cameras from the
yes.
cars. Okay.
Then the third pillar in this thinking is the Dojo compute. And the Dojo is what Elon always calls a very risky bet, but he's very optimistic about the process that Dojo is making. And Dojo is the
supercomputer?
Supercomputer learning center that the Tesla is already developing.
It's like the competitor of NVIDIA.
Yeah, competitor,
basically.
But with certain specific qualities that are for real world AI.
Yeah, so I learned from the total compute being used right now in the Robotaxi environment.
Yeah,
only 10% is based on the Dojo infrastructure.
Yeah,
and where does the rest come from?
NVIDIA.
Sick.
So all the GPUs are from NVIDIA, 90%.
Yeah. So when
Elon also said that with the second phase of Dojo, this will actually exponentially grow. But this is still lagging on the plans that they had.
Yeah, and it has been very silent on Dojo.
Because they're not actually getting to their targets.
Yeah. So we have those 3 pillars already in place. Elon wants to create the everything app, and X is a sort of the acquisition of X is an accelerator of getting to that everything app. Then we got all the real world video and data of Tesla. Then we have the Dojo supercompute that can accelerate all that learning and using the data in their models. But the fourth one also made me thinking. We are all users of X, right? And if you look at the improvement of X over the last year, there have been a lot of minor improvements, like very small things, video upload, things that can go faster.
Community nodes.
Yeah, community nodes. But in the end, it's basically still sort of the same product. And Elon was like very frustrated about all the legacy code and all the legacy people that are working there. xAI has already been training on the data of X, so this is not a new thing. They have been already training on that thing. So my sort of theory of what's happening here is that they have been working on the background already on a sort of new X platform that is going to happen, accelerated with AI capabilities, because Elon likes to have like a handful of very smart people just working on there. And also phase 1 of the technology, right? The first 3 phases, he also applies that on X. So phase 1 is, okay, let's make sure we do the obvious things with the thing, and we can do that with the same group of people. But he also looks at X as a technology thing. So then xAI comes. So now we're going to see the second stage of X. And I think that is going to be a sort of rapid improvement towards that everything app. A lot of people are using Grok already as replacement for Google. So search is going to be a big component in that. Video is going to be a big component in that. News is going to be a big component in that. Payments is going to be a big component of that. And just the latest stages of that everything app, phone and communication, so WhatsApp and dialing will be included. And the latest stages will be commerce and just goods and services that you can order. So I think the master plan and the execution will be something in that direction, but it will get more and more vertical integrated. So the headquarter of X will also be moved to Texas, in that whole hub, let's say Elon Musk City, with Boring, SpaceX, Tesla, everything.
Look at this close by. Can you make the screen a little bit bigger, Karan?
But what do we know about xAI? Like, is it like Grok is from them, right? Or
yeah, Grok is xAI.
But how are they now earning money then? Is it because they sell the subscriptions through X? So
X Premium users have free access to it, and you can also upgrade, because I had a really long conversation about what skis to buy and what ski shoes to buy, what's the best combination. And then at one point I said, no more, you can't have any more questions because the limit is reached for the day. And for like €35 a month, you can have full access to Grok 3. So they're also paying, they're also offering big paid subscriptions.
Okay. But that's the only source of revenue, right, for xAI?
Yeah, and
or are there more now?
The mission of xAI is to understand the universe.
I know, I understand, but can we, what kind of revenue streams do they have other than that? Yeah, okay.
But where's the revenue? Like, besides monthly subscriptions, like, where's the revenue coming from? Because it costs a lot of money to run Grok, right?
Maybe you should ask Grok.
Yeah.
Good question.
Hey.
Yeah,
Florian is awake. Woke man.
Extended thoughts on that, the conversation we had on sort of that future of where this whole X and AI is going in that whole Musk economy, so to say.
Here. The third is
so
this
we
one.
just showed this one, and I also brought in the other one that CERN was bringing in.
Yeah. So that's scrolling down here.
I mean, X and xAI, as we know, will be part of the Musk economy. And, Tesla rebranded their Robotaxi as the We Robot event.
Yep.
So this is actually a picture of a very extensive thread from, it's not from CERN, but from somebody else. And he explains actually the whole master plan of the Musk economy, and he calls it We Progress.
Yeah, he already posted something about
Christian.
this.
So if you click on the Christian, this is Elon Musk's 100-year master plan.
Yeah, and this is half a year ago, 9 months ago. So it's 2024 already.
Yeah, so he explains here the We Progress thesis. We robot from Tesla, and then all the companies that we are talking
how
here
it ties together.
How it ties together. So it's quite interesting, and go ahead and read it. I think we've been talking about this also, but I think this acquisition is just the beginning of this coming together of all these companies. So eventually, the business model of xAI will have to do something with the Optimus and the legend of Optimi. I mean,
for sure. It's a no-brainer.
Hey, Kenny, you got it on
it's actually a pretty interesting answer that he gives. So the first one is the X Premium subscriptions.
Yeah.
So part goes to xAI if you subscribe. Then it says API services. So if you're a developer or a business, you can use certain API filters, etc. So I think for example, like financial services or traders, whatever, they will use this data quite a lot because it gives you an idea of what people are buying, etc. And then it gives quite an interesting hook. So it says it has integration with Musk's ecosystem. So xAI collaborates with Musk's other ventures, such as SpaceX for Starlink customer support, and also R&D revenue sharing for Tesla. So I don't know how it actually works. But it's already leveraging the xAI AI capabilities within other companies as well. So
I mean, I think the biggest asset of xAI is at this moment that enormous super cluster in Memphis, which they built in 19 days.
They have a lot of hardware as well.
There are a lot of GPUs there. If you look at the Q4 earnings call, we just looked at the graph of all the cumulative miles, but beneath that, it's actually showing the cumulative GPUs actually built out. Yeah. And I thought they were forecasting to get to 100,000 GPUs. And on the all hands meeting, he said they weren't there yet. Yeah. So there were around 60,000. So they're actually lagging behind their forecast on building out those GPUs. Yeah. So it could be that they also use GPUs already in place for xAI. So eventually those things will come together. And I think those are the three biggest assets of the future economy are going to be the physical robots, the compute, and the data. Yeah. So those three are coming together, and those three are also coming together in this whole.
And what would be the result of that? Because if we could make it dystopian, but doesn't necessarily need to be dystopian. But that if we have this physical AI, this is going to replace not only this is going to replace all jobs in the end.
So I think it would be good to do a kind of inquiry on which date we will lose our jobs. I think both white collar and also blue collar jobs will be replaced by AI. Especially when physical AI is there. Yeah. Physical AI is when Optimus is actually going live.
Yeah, we're already seeing it with those figure AI robots in the
physical
BMW
AI is already roaming around in the world through our Teslas. It's already happened.
It's already there, yeah.
It's on wheels right now. Yeah. And with version 14, which will get out in 30 days, but we will see a very intelligent robot on the streets.
But there is an expectation as well that xAI will be, let's say, standard with a Robotaxi, right? So you get in and there's the X app and you just talk to it. Like, can you get me groceries or I want to do this or I want to do that.
It can understand everything you say to it.
It's just a language model. So the data where xAI
there's no fly on the walls.
Or the competitors of the xAI are being built on the data which only lives within our digital world. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what you were explaining an hour ago as well. That the data that Tesla's actually bringing in is also real world AI,
highest quality,
and
images.
So, and the high quality filming. And dot number 5 that you have is that Elon explained when with the acquisition of X. He sort of promised the Tesla shareholders one day you will have the benefits of this thing. And Elon is we always underestimate it, but he's very action driven in the moment, and it seems wild, but he's always thinking and planning at least 10 years.
There's a very clear goal, at least in his mind.
10 years ahead. So also with building of that infrastructure, etc., he thinks about those kind of things. So he said Tesla will benefit from the acquisition of X in sort of the long run of that thing. And for me, that whole point that Tesla has all those data, xAI is already training with that data. That's just an inevitable thing that is there. So Tesla will benefit from this, or with a licensing deal for the data in phase 1. But in the end, I think this is going to be the first stage of sort of larger consolidation of the whole X empire. Let's call it like that. That's probably a good name, better than the Musk economy. That sounds a bit weird. Yep. But the X empire and X Corp is already one of the ideas that also Larry and Elon have been brainstorming about for a very long time. So Larry Ellison and Elon talked about setting up the whole X Corp, where he consolidates all the companies into one.
Huh. In a couple of years, he will also have like more data on space. Already has, basically.
Yeah,
Mars.
He can launch the best satellites and
satellite connections.
I think I found that comment you meant from Farzad. I think this is the comment, right? And this is exactly what Florian, what we were saying.
Yep.
This is like a big reality check. Nobody's seeing it. Like only a couple.
I don't believe it.
No? Why not?
No. Well, I think we're still pretty far away from like super intelligence or like very creative work. It's basically now trained on, new stuff, but only things that we actually build, like everything we put on the networks, everything we put on X. That's how those things are.
Relatively recent data.
Yeah, and also older data, but it doesn't create like new things, So, and I don't think we figured out our own brains. So I don't think it will be in the AI in the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, I think it will make us more efficient. Today from a guy, he was working at Meta and Google, and he was working his ass off. He was like working 60, 70 hours a week, or a week. Yeah. So it was like, I want to have a normal job where I can just work for 30, 40 hours. So he switched his job. He switched his salary of $300,000 a year to go to a bank. He only earned $150,000. He only had to work 30 hours. And he thought he was okay. And he just tweeted, I got fired together with my whole team. And this guy was coding. And these were the guys who everybody was looking for and paying high salaries for. So I think it's happening already. People are getting fired, not because they are already replaced, but maybe he didn't have
They've become redundant a little bit.
Well, he was talking in his tweet about it as well, because he was reflecting, as I always do on X as well. I use it as like a reflecting tool. But he was very open about it. And there were some people also discussing with him. And I think somebody said it pretty well. He said like, they didn't replace the guy one-on-one with an AI, but maybe he got replaced because he wasn't thinking already how he should be replaced in 2 years with AI. Mm-hmm. And that's something that's actually really happening in companies already. Is that people are already thinking, hey, how I'm being approached like 100 times a week by companies who are saying, we can help you reduce your number of people by X or Y.
Just by using AI in the company.
And I'm also helping my people within the company use AI in order to get better at what you're doing. Because otherwise I'm not saying it to them, but I'm already thinking about it.
Yeah, and you're showing it in essence.
Be aware, it's going fast and it's getting better and better. And
So
I also see how my son uses AI already.
Yeah. Well, it will enhance, but I don't think it will replace full.
Yeah, but I think something in the market, ChatGPT also
this guy thinks different, can he?
I mean, the Optimus will replace a blue-collar job pretty fast. I mean, we've been talking about figure AI already being on the...
Robotics is one of the topics that I want to discuss this week. So I think that's still pretty far away.
But what's far?
Okay, far as 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, so I think we're talking in the same realm. And nobody knows how fast it will be, but 5 to 10 years
like
is pretty fast.
We had back in the day, so when we had a lot of farmers doing all the manual jobs, then we got all those machines coming in, right? So everyone's like, oh shit, we got those machines coming in, they're going to replace people. But we still needed operators. We went to an industrial revolution because of it, because we had our hands were tied to farming, which were now loosened up, so we could do different things. and it accelerated our wealth
and increased the yield of the crops and your output.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, yes, it will exchange certain jobs, but I still think there will be a lot of room for developers, lawyers, etc. Just in a different form.
Yeah, but like then it's mainly from a creativity standpoint. But
yes,
like Grok and ChatGPT are already very creative, but they still need the human input to reach a certain creativity.
I think we're all underestimating this thing, even myself, because now also there are agents being sold on the market. I think ChatGPT
there are some.
And those are 4,000 or 5,000 euros a month to have those capabilities.
To unlock the full potential of ChatGPT within a corporate environment, or
and that's just like, okay, we have trained certain agents. You can replace your entire customer support team, boom. Or you can have like an army of coders at your thing, boom. Those now we're using it as consumers, and we're using it in our daily businesses.
Yeah, okay, but take a group of developers. So they say, all right, Damian, you don't need 5 developers, which I'm totally on board with. That's going to happen, But it still needs input. It needs your ideas. So what are we going to build? How are we going to build it?
Yeah, exactly, because translating your ideas to a developer that actually makes the plan to get it real. Like you still need those like vital.
Shall we invite Grok to this discussion?
Yeah. No, well, the thing that I think you are in.
It doesn't work on the
3 things that are going to replace within 3 years. Bureaucrats.
Hopefully,
those people are very creative, though.
What shall we ask Grok then?
Sure, duck down the heels. Second, consultants. Those consultants and
teachers.
Teachers will be probably a bit later in life. People still love those environment, although I've been...
No, but teachers will be replaced by like coaches or something. But not the...
something like that. And the third will be low-level jobs in white collar firms.
Okay, so but this also means that everything is going to be democratized, right? So everybody can build his own agent and etc.
Yeah.
So how can we best position then for the future?
It was
being a capitalist.
There was an interview with Elon lately. I can't remember which interview, but he was also asked. But there is also this fear of the people that AI will replace them, and he actually dodged that question. Can you remember that interview?
No.
Yeah.
Was it with Joe Rogan?
No, it was on Fox with this. He was explaining Dojo, etc. And of course, the whole revolution against Dojo. Why are people so angry? There's this feeling that that there's something going to happen which is not good for not only for the people working in the government, but also people working in the private sector. And Dojo is going to be the beginning of this all. So they are not really angry at that. Actually, it's showing that it's fraud or misuse or whatever. It's the gut feeling that they will be replaced. The interviewer actually asked those 2 questions. And the first question he actually gave an answer to, but the second he actually dodged. So maybe we should find it and try to discuss this in our next spot as well.
One of the other very important, I think, dots in this whole Elon or X empire that is being built is the change of mission statement of Tesla lately. Yeah. So we're working towards
sustainable abundance.
Sustainable abundance, and xAI has the mission of exploring the universe, which is of course very important in
answering the most important question that we all have.
Yeah.
Why are we here?
So that's sustainable abundance. To create that's sort of the overarching thing of X and xAI, exploring the universe or understanding the nature of the universe. That's the philosophy of curiosity that Elon has. So that is the philosophy that's being fed in the mission to build an abundant, sustainable future. So Tesla first mission was specific, accelerated transition to sustainable energy. They consider that job done, at least on the technology level and the input that is needed for that. So that train is already gone, right? So they're now thinking ahead, like, okay, what world are we entering in when this is all coming true? And that's a sustainable abundance for everybody on the world, right? So I think that mission statement of Tesla is a very big step towards the consolidation within the X empire, because that will be also the big end goal of many of the X endeavors of Elon.
Okay, so I asked ChatGPT. It gives me very good answers. So it says that it's not so much about replacement, but more about augmentation.
Yeah, so helping it make stuff better.
So it explains like what's likely to happen, like repetitive and predictable tasks. Those will be automated. We already see that, chatbots, etc. Skilled roles will still be based on judgment, human judgment. That's something that will stay with people, and obviously like new jobs around AIs, etc. So I said to it so. Do you think basically judgment will not be covered by AI? What do you think will not be replaced and still should be done by humans? So it explains what AI actually struggles with. So it says the contextual judgment and nuance is very hard for AI. So it cannot understand like human language, body language, and in negotiating, like reading the other part, because it finds it very difficult. Ethical decision making is very hard because it's all based on data. So it's based on what's right and wrong, not what's fair.
Moral dilemmas shouldn't necessarily be based on...
Exactly. So it says creativity. So creativity and originality. So AI can remix ideas, but true creativity, connecting unrelated dots, inventing new models or changing the game is still very human.
Yeah.
It's
building trust and relationships.
I think from my entrepreneurial spirit... where my curiosity goes through is I would love to build a company right now if I would be able to start all over again just with AI.
With 0 employees.
Yes. And I think I'm not the only one who is having this kind of ideas and wants to do this. And I think we will see the first 1 billion ARR revenue company within a few years without any employees.
Do you think it will be 2027 as what the other guys posted about?
Yeah, so this guy's name is Greg Eisenberg.
Yeah,
I follow him and he is all in on this as well.
Can we make it full screen shortly for?
It's funny that that the ChatGPT also highlighted a body language, because my 4-year-old daughter is looking she's watching a series on YouTube where the people talk with only hand gestures and eye gestures. And I found it very annoying because then she start talking to me also in those gestures. So I said, talk normal. But she's already like riding that wave of using like super facial expressions as a thing, because the rest can be done much better by AIs, but that human emotion is still very strong, and so kids copy that.
That's very difficult.
My wife has a ChatGPT account, and she shared it with our oldest son. And we were in the car back yesterday from an event, and she told me that Luke was using the ChatGPT for answering WhatsApps to somebody.
Yeah.
So he actually sent out a WhatsApp to the girlfriend of my wife to ask if he would be able to be a babysitter for the child, and he used ChatGPT to use the exact good words.
Wow. And but I do it all the time with my emails.
But let me ask you something, because it's really good, and this can work quite well, but it does also make people unlearn certain things, because these are skills that you learn throughout life with trial and error, and your environment like responding to you if you don't do it correctly, and the next time you do it correctly. Yeah. So is it only positive, or does it also have negatives?
Well, I think the communication of language is a very valuable one, but also Elon explained that it's a very slow one, and there's very much misunderstanding. And one of the things that the Boring Company, the chip, is doing, that we can sort of have a telepathy. I can share my ideas with Florian. Yeah. So probably our future communication will be like this, like
exactly. I got it.
Just facial expressions.
Yeah,
and has Neuralink, and
that's what happened in the first half hour. I was like listening to you. I already understand what you're saying, but you don't have to explain everything.
Yeah, you're fast.
You sometimes have that in discussions. You're like, okay, I already got it.
No, after two words, like, I know where the story's going.
Yeah. And I think, your question, of course, there will be bad things, but that's the same question as if we would be in a world without an iPhone or without internet. It helps us become faster humans and maybe even develop into more conscious humans, and even get to a level that we have no idea about, and maybe get to some levels of our former civilizations. But you never know.
Should there maybe come like a certain age limit where, as a human being, you can use AI? Because like when the mobile phone came out, kids weren't getting phones. And then like when I went to high school, I was, I think, 14 or 15 when I got my first phone, whilst some friends got it also already in the last grade of the primary school.
Yeah, so I'm reading this book. I was being referred to it by Naval Ravikant. And
what's it called?
It's called The Sovereign Child. And basically the whole premise of the book is that the child is on the same level as we as adults are, and that a child could be as sovereign as an adult. So if a child wants to eat 8 ice creams, just let him eat 8 ice creams. He will learn from eating 8 ice creams, and then he will say, okay, I got enough ice creams. For the rest of the week, I'm done, So that's the basic premise. But we are all conditioned to say, no, we have to make limits to children. We have to put rules around them, etc. That's the way you actually create the best humans. But this book is all about, no, don't give them any rules. Let them become the sovereign thing that they already are.
They'll find out their limits by themselves.
And if they go and grab a knife and maybe he want to stab you?
Or he's running around with scissors.
I haven't read the book yet, so
putting on the spot there.
Yeah.
I think I have a quite fair, quite good sovereign form of how do you say, raising
parenting. You have a small little rebel.
Raising a kid.
Yeah.
And I do believe that just saying no, policing is not the best way of raising a kid, but it leads to very interesting things because they become sovereign quite fast in many ways. So the coming week I going to let her do the groceries for our family.
Cool.
So we say
she's gonna drive herself as well.
Because I always have a discussion when I'm in the supermarket, like you can have this or you can have that. So I said, well, let's turn it around. You're going to do the groceries for us because
what do you think we need
to do? So I run all those kind of experiments. And sometimes she say, yeah, I don't want this, and then she's not ready for it, or you do it, Daddy.
Yeah.
But then you have a discussion on that. But it's basically sort of together with your child, and you need to parent them. I think that's healthy to keep safe boundaries. Like a knife is obviously a dangerous situation, so you need to explain that. And kids actually understand it quite intuitively. So you almost never see those kind of things happen. But as a parent, you need to keep your kids safe.
No, but I was
so you need to be a guardian.
By the question of case of
the age limit.
Are there also bad things?
Yeah.
So we are conditioned, and I see it from all parents, that if we see children play with their phones or play with their games, that we are like, we should get them off the phones and they should play outside, you know. But these guys are actually claiming that if they're having fun, if they're doing what they like, just let them.
It's the new playing outside, but then with the phone.
It's not a bad thing.
Well,
we are conditioned that it's a bad thing.
We perceive it as a bad thing
because we got told by our parents, "Hey, don't watch too much TV."
Yeah, because your eyes become square.
Yeah. So maybe that's something which we need to get rid of, about all these conditions that we actually build up through our whole life.
Yeah.
Why are we actually putting those conditions onto our children, and why are we using those kind of conditions looking at new technology?
Yeah,
I think we should look at new technology with an open mind and see what it can bring us. And I'm very positive about what this technology is going to bring, but it will also change a lot. And one of the biggest things that's going to change is that we are not going to have jobs anymore. So what's going to be our purpose? What's going to be our... we're going to change from a world of scarcity to a world of abundance. That's going to be totally different things. So
are we still
let's talk about those kind of things. Yeah. It's very interesting, actually, and let's embrace it. And I think it's going to go faster than we think.
Based on my own observations of sort of using that technology, I think there's a big difference in the intention of which things are being created. So on YouTube, there are many videos where if you put your kid in front of it, it's basically what they do is they hack your brain. So the kid is just sitting there and just stares at the screen, and there's no possibility of contact. But one big recommendation that I can recommend everybody with very young kids is an app called Splash Games, and that application is basically 100 small video games within a learning application. So it's called not Splash Games, it's called SplashLearn. And SplashLearn also got all sorts of AIs running on the background doing assessments on your kid. So for example, if your kid like drawing, but if your kid don't like to calculate or do math, it infuses math into the drawing thing. So you learn to recognize, you learn to count, etc. And it's so engaging that my kid is hooked on that too. So she wants to play with it all the time, and she learns a lot from it. So she just made like 40 drawings in 1 hour of time. So exponentially
but this
more.
Is exactly what I mean. The moment a kid is engaged and has fun, don't stop it.
Exactly.
No, don't stop it, because it's really on fire.
Yeah, and the
I
curiosity.
would be so good in FIFA, man. I cannot imagine.
Yeah, but I think that's sort of
you become conditioned to become a M&A
coding FIFA.
Yeah, well, it's very different behavior, because also when she's done games for a couple of hours, she got a sort of brain load that she had in solving all these problems, doing all these drawings, etc.
Overstimulated.
And if you say like, okay, you've watched enough of this movie, you need to go to bed, then a sort of war starts. You know, it's like an addict, like stealing the heroin of the of the kid. So then you see, okay, this is kind of sort of destructive behavior. And this is sort of, I agree with you. Like if it's engaged, then just let them run.
Well, enough to think about, and I think we need to devote a whole another episode on the complete AI topic.
Yeah, well, first he has to read the book.
Yeah,
so we can ask him questions.
Yeah. And I'm very curious also to.
I will watch a summary on YouTube, and then I will.
Yeah, but I'm also very.
Ask ChatGPT, help me. What's this book about? Can he ask about using a knife? What do I do?
I'm very curious what like our audience thinks about this topic and what we should discuss next time. So please just put it in the comments. Because AI is at our doorsteps, and it's gonna create all different kinds of scenarios we couldn't conceive of.
I enjoy so much more being together in the studio
100%
with all of us instead of.
What happens next week?
Call.
8 of April.
What?
We have a guest.
CERN Basher.
Oh yeah. How are we gonna do it, Kees?
Digital. So.
Not
physical, back to our stinky rooms.
Okay.
I will say, let's grab a mic and make sure our setting is ready.
It's good.
So we make a cool deep dive and dive into the future and the numbers of the robo.
Yeah. I have to say, once you sit together, it's more engaging. Like when you're just
fun, right?
Yeah, but it's also more engaging because the people are here and
and it's easier to have a discussion because if everything's happening online, like interrupting or talking.
Yeah, the only thing is like when it's on my screen, I can like get a big sticker on Damian's head, so then it's better.
That works. That works.
We can create a physical sticker.
Yeah, let's do that.
Bullet like before Elon went crazy or something.
A mask.
Next time we could be flying the wall again. Can eat it.
We can make a mask of Reid Hoffman.
Put it on Damian.
Do it.
It would suit him. He has the body already, so.
Guns, big guns.
Looking forward to next week, and thanks again for watching.
All right, gents. Bye-bye.
See you next week. Bye.